I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Meeting of the Wahoo City Council, March 26, 2024, 7 o'clock p.m. Open Meetings Act posted on the wall. If you want more information, there's more information at City Hall. Call the meeting in order and have roll call.
Stuart Creechy.
Here.
Shane Sweet.
Here.
Carl Warford.
Here.
Ryan Ideas.
Here.
Chris Rappel.
Here.
Patrick Nagels.
Okay.
No proclamations. Anybody in the audience have something they want to discuss or bring up that's not on the agenda? No, think we see that, so we'll move on. Start off with department head report. Joe was just here with a committee meeting, and we'll see if he says the same thing as he did an hour.
Pretty close. I can add something new to it. We thought we were done with snow.
Yeah.
And we had to pull the plows out today and load them up with salt because it was slick out. So we got that knocked out. I'm not going to say the snow's done yet, but I'm pretty optimistic that it's done. So I missed the last council meeting that I was supposed to be here for. I was actually in Lincoln working on my state superintendent license, so I feel like I'm back in high school again. But it's going good. It's a lot of math. So we'll get there. So this year, from 1/12/24 to 1/22, we had 10-day snow cleanup events. We had 5 other small snow dusting or ice events. That big storm was a good test. I thought we handled it well, but I think there's a few things that maybe we could do better. Most of our equipment held up, so that was great. I think the guys were a little tired. We had almost 100 hours apiece in that week. I think we were right at 100 hours in 1 week of cleaning up snow. So I know everybody was tired. After about 70 hours, everybody just starts to get happy and goofy, and it's just a little change of pace. But I think it went well. Like I said, it was tough. It was, I think, tough for everybody. So let's continue to get better and hope that those storms like that don't hit us. Right now, we've already been out and swept every street in town for street sweeping. The temperature was nice, so we were able to get out. So right now we're just doing like spots. If it's raining, we'll go out and try to pick up sand and gravel. It's a lot easier to street sweep when the ground's wet, because if not, we get about 1 city block, and then we have to go dump and fill the sweeper back up with water again, so it gets really dusty out there with it being super dry. So street repairs, crews have been out working on gravel road repairs from the winter, raking, grading, filling in low spots, filling in potholes on the asphalt and concrete streets. I don't think we got hit that bad this year with potholes. I know there's a few out there, but I think we've got majority of them filled up. One of our big projects we got going on right now is our storm sewer maintenance and repairs. We hired a contractor, Johnson Services, to come in and do a downtown sewer inspection of basically the area where all of our new water main's gonna go. So pretty much the whole downtown area. Got a lot of good information from them. Melissa and I are actually sitting down with JEO this week to go over their water study from the downtown area. One thing that we were working on this winter was digging out the drainage ditches behind Sam Crawford, basically heading down to the fairgrounds and then to the east. So if you guys see down behind Sam Crawford, we cleared out a bunch of trees back there and dug that ditch out, and we've had a couple rain events that actually flushed our system like we expected it to do. Our challenge now is we're working with the railroad to get access to the ditch behind the county yard, going from basically the drainage ditch that comes down from the pool in the baseball field, and then it extends back to the south. That area needs cleaned up, but it's on railroad right away, and it's really difficult to access railroad right away. So we're working on that. Hopefully, being there in the next month. We've been doing a lot of staff training this winter in our downtime. One area that we really targeted was heavy equipment training. So all the guys this winter went through safety and proper operating procedures on the front end loader, the motor grader, the backhoe, and basically any heavy machinery that we have, we went through training on it. And that was through LTAP through the University of Lincoln. So it was really good, very interactive, and I think the guys enjoyed it. One other area of training that I really have been pushing hard is just personal development and leadership training. I feel like the guys work with the public on an everyday basis, and I want them to feel comfortable in doing so and just engaging with people and educating the public on what we're doing every day, not thinking that every interaction has to be an issue. You know, they need to educate the public on why they're out there, what they're doing, what they're supposed to be doing, and why they're doing it. So I think spreading that will really help everybody understand, like, we're out here to try to do good things, and it's what we're out here to do. So, let's see. I attended a concrete paving workshop back in January. Learned a lot about concrete. You think you know everything, and then you get into it and you don't. So technologies are changing. Basically a lot of that conference talked about how the government's changing ashes and different stuff, like our concrete mixes are all changing because they gotta be in an area with the EAP and stuff on what we use and how we use it and where you put it. So everything's changing, getting more expensive. Cemetery report, burials from December 23 to March 24. We had 10 full burials, 8 cremations. Staff at the cemetery is currently working on settling winter graves and spring cleanup. Cemetery expansion, we had a cemetery committee meeting tonight. We had a lot of really good information. We're moving forward with that. Once we get probably another meeting or two further, we'll hopefully be able to roll something out to the council. We filled a position, assistant street superintendent. I'd like to introduce you guys to Mr. Jason Blackwell. Really happy to have him on board. He brings a set of skills that I don't really have. He has a good tech background and a lot of gaps that I feel that we can fill to help the community with just SOPs and our procedures, and just to be able to focus on setting up the future. So when I'm not here and you guys aren't here, our kids and grandkids they can just walk right in and it's built and it's ready to go. So, Jason, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Jason Blackwell. I like to talk, so I'll keep this really quick and short. But real quick background, 20 plus years, retired U.S. Air Force veteran. I was a satellite command and control electronic warfare officer. Retired, proud to call Wahoo my home. As soon as I retired, I came here, took a job in Omaha. Background was in management, engineering, director, process improvement, IT, things like that. Just got to a point in my life where I was like, I need to be more involved with my community, and how can I do that? And so I took the hard or the easy way and said, hey, there's a job at the street, and let me go give it a shot. And I've fallen in love with it. Really like Joe's vision. Again, it's just that community engagement is what I'm looking for in life now. I got a grandbaby, and that's it. So anyways, thank you all for the opportunity, and nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Do you guys have any other questions for me?
Want to go through this?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, the important thing. So we're in need of a tractor. Our tractor that we have is a 1990. It's still in pretty good shape by the look of the pictures. We want to upgrade. It's our tractor that we use for our right-of-ways, so it basically is for all our right-of-way mowing. We went out, we got 2 bids right now. One of the bids is from New Holland and David City, and the other is from John Deere here in town.
Sets of bids.
Both bids came back at about the same price. They were at about $58,000, which was lower than I expected. I'm not 100% on buying new, but I just want to roll this out to you guys because good used equipment's hard to find right now. I want to just continue looking, but I want to get your guys' approval to purchase if we find something that fits what we want. And I don't want to I think if we were to buy one of these two, I probably lean towards the John Deere because it's local and they're giving us a pretty good government discount. But if I could find a good used machine with a couple hundred hours for about, I don't know, 15 or 20,000 less, I would love to do that. But
How many hours does the old one have?
I don't even think it has an hour meter.
So you trade in or you just sell it?
We
right?
tried trading it in and they said, your best bet's to probably take it to the auction.
Well, let Sanderson sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That came up. That came up.
Park it in front of John Deere there. Money's in the budget, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is this, why can I never remember the name of the program when the police just bought their, I know it was Chevy, but what they bought their,
They're
State.
blue. I mean,
yeah, the state
Yeah.
bid
we
program,
talked
is that
about.
what this is coming off of?
Yeah, I haven't dug into it too much. I've been super busy with a lot of other stuff, but I just kind of wanted to get you guys started because this tractor's pretty old, and I didn't want to just throw this on the back burner and something happened to that tractor, and then we got road ditches that are, 4 foot tall. So, kind of want to move rather quickly on this. I mean, I think our tractor will last us another season, but it was one of the things when I first started 3 years ago, it had a big star on the top of the list and said need replaced ASAP. So we got 3 more years out of it.
So it has a bucket on it, and then.
Yeah, it has a loader bucket, but we really don't use the loader bucket on it because we strictly use that tractor to mow right of ways.
Oh, okay.
And so when we looked at the new one, we were like, well, do we really need a loader? But our other tractor that we use, and that's a tractor that we use to grade, it's a smaller tractor. We use it to do alleys. We use it to grade the gravel roads and stuff in town. That's an older tractor as well, so I think that it offsets. If we had the loader, we could use it for both systems. And we actually have 3 tractors right now. We have a 1975 Ford, which the purpose that one serves is it's got a side wing mower. So that serves where there's big drop-offs and you can put it over the ditch and mow the sides of the ditches. We can't take that shredder off and put it on the new tractor because the setup's completely different. So they each kind of serve their own purpose. Like I said, I don't think we need a loader for this one, but if we were to buy it, it would be nice to have that loader on there. But in the summertime, this is just gonna have our bush hog on the back of it, and that's what we would use to mow all the right-of-ways in town. The other thing is we're growing. So there's more right-of-way, there's more stuff that needs to be mowed. We looked at other options. We looked at, could we do it with a smaller scale? Could we do it with, a little batwing, 0-turn? The problem is there's a lot of trash and stuff on our right-of-ways that would need picked up that would cause maintenance issues on smaller equipment. So I think we need to stick to our bigger, have a tractor that can go out and cut that stuff down.
Well, it just makes sense for, with us growing too. I mean, well, smaller now, it's probably not this much.
I was just gonna say, as you mentioned, having a loader on it, anything that makes it more versatile, especially when you're buying something new, I think is a good thing. You never know when you're gonna need that.
You can't anticipate when, yeah.
Well, a loader is definitely a lot cheaper as a part of a package as opposed to buying it after the fact if you ever decided you want one. Only thing I would say, my dad has that 5075E,
Okay.
and he still prefers to use his 1968 John Deere 2520 because he feels like that's really tip happy.
Okay.
So just make sure.
No, it's
there's-
that's very good information.
Maybe there's some a weight package you kind of want to look at too.
Okay.
To help
Yeah,
with
it looked a little like, so when we put these bids out, basically we went with a comparable horsepower to the one we had. So honestly, to be completely honest, what I would like to do is find a used one that was maybe 10 to 15 more horsepower than that one. And, something for about 15 to 20,000 less. Cause we've got a lot of, we want to look at snow plows as well. We're constantly going to be talking about getting our snow equipment up to speed. And with that situation, it's just going to be, where can we find it? Is this a good deal? There's just not a lot of used equipment out there, and new stuff is, a new tandem is $350,000. And there's good lease programs, but when you break that down with our equipment budget, so our equipment budget's $100,000 a year, and our vehicle budget's $50,000 a year. So you guys can do the math. So buying new, it's just we just can't do it right now. We will continue to try to find good used equipment. We've had great luck. We bought that Chevy 5500 last year, which was great this winter, phenomenal. We had 80 grand in that. The year before, we bought the single axle out of Minnesota, which that was 60,000, and that's been a great truck for us. We just need to continue to try to find those deals, and
I think you have been really diligent. I think you have found some good used deals these last couple of years. I mean, and it's been good equipment, and you've gotten good use out of it. So that's
we definitely put our thought into it. I
Sure.
mean, it's not just we find something, oh yeah, this will do. That's not how I am.
Right.
So we're doing our homework, and we're trying to get through with what we got. And I just wanted to throw this out there to you guys, so I'd appreciate it if you could take a look at it and possibly approve it, so we could just continue to look and find what we need.
What would just curiosity wise, I know this isn't what you're looking at. You said you wanted to find one that was, 10 or 15 more horse. So what would the next step up be for the new? I mean,
I haven't priced it.
yeah.
New's great because it's got a warranty, but I don't think it's needed. I mean, if we can save that money,
Sure.
I mean, do I think my guys deserve to have a new tractor? Yeah. But I know it's gonna happen to us, it's gonna get scratched and banged up, so if we can find something that maybe is local, I mean, we've been watching, that's well taken care of. We've talked to John Deere, we've kind of put a bug in their ear and said, this is what we're looking for if somebody trades in something really nice or in good shape. Cause we're strictly gonna use this tractor to mow right of ways. So, I mean, we've definitely got the use out of that tractor. I think Melissa might know, did they buy that tractor new?
Well, the sheet you passed out said $25,000 back in '92, so.
Yeah.
My only thought is just, obviously, take a quick look at that state bid. It's not always the best, but when there's deals in there, like a $45,000 Tahoe that the police department bought, man, you can't find a used one for
Yeah.
that. You just can't. So if there's a deal out there where we can get off of state bid, you're probably gonna find if you might find that state bid pricing is gonna be brand new for what you would pay for used anyway.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Things.
Melissa is up.
So I don't have a formal report for you this evening. Do you want this? But just wanted to bring a couple of things to your attention. First off, if you recall, on the east side of Wilmer Ridge subdivision, there was a trail connection piece that was to be put in to tie 23rd Street Trail into the Lake Wahoo Trail. So the Wilmer Trail is what Kevin is calling it, whether that's the official name or not, is been rocked. There's seating and landscaping that has yet to be done, but I know it's available and open for the public to use. On April 16th, City Hall will be closed to the public for some computer transition stuff we're doing. Server that will affect access for everyone. And then North Highlands Phase 2 is under construction. We are working with Dave Hinkey's been doing some of our construction management and oversight with that project. We have incorporated sewer and water taps for the park area, and we're having the parking area for the park included in the construction of the street area. So we could not do that, and then when we're ready for the park to develop, we would grind the curb and pour the parking, and then there's going to be a seam. So we're getting plans to incorporate into that, so that can be constructed at the same time. And there was last Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't know, whenever the accident happened out at the intersection, Ryan and I attended the pre-construction meeting on that roundabout project. So you've probably noticed there are some folks working out there. That is the contractor that was hired by the utilities to do the electric utility relocation. That's all reimbursed by the state. And there'll be a few pieces of that project that the contractor, Graham, will be coming in and doing, coinciding with the work that's going on. But they estimate about the middle to end of May is when the first phase, which is actually phase 3 of the project that will impact traffic, will be coming into place. And that's when southbound on Old Highway 77 will be shut down, and the detour will come into Wahoo for accessing like John Deere or, excuse me, the NRD. They'll come down Chestnut. And then, yeah, the Chestnut will be the access. And they estimate that'll take about 2 months to complete, so.
So for 2 months, all traffic to John Deere has to come up into Chestnut, all the way back around and go back out,
Yes,
theoretically. Or the gravel
Or
roads, I suppose,
gravel
I might call.
or gravel roads, yes.
Interesting.
And then the next phase there'll be a period of transition in there, but then the next following phase where people will be impacted will be 109 going north, and that detour route is to the Meade Corner, north to Fremont, over to Cedar Bluffs, and south to 109. But let's be real, that is not the route people are going to be taking, because that airport access road will be open as well. So we've had conversations, and department head will have more about how we want to monitor that traffic and route the traffic. And so we have all the contact information to work with the contractor. So other than that, I have nothing else.
You mentioned the server upgrade. Are we upgrading servers or offsite, or sending it all offsite?
We're going to the cloud.
Going to the cloud.
Just want to make
Yes.
sure. I'd hate to hear that we were putting more money into
No.
hardware for our own
We
servers.
did the evaluation of it, and it makes us much more mobile if we need to be mobile in the event of a
Scalable.
disaster,
Scalable.
or in the event, and it also allows for, right now, the server is only accessible because we don't have a lot of outside people logging into that, but it's just for City Hall. There's a way that we can bring all of our departments and have them have electronic access to maps or plats or policies, all of those things, so.
Then who's helping you with that?
What's that?
Who's doing that for you?
Our Red Eye Tech,
Red Eye.
who is our contractor,
Okay.
that we've
And they're
worked with
helping
for,
The firewalls and all that stuff. Okay.
yes, we've had
Are
conversations about that
is that
too.
who you're basing your cloud on?
Say that again?
Is that who's hosting your cloud? Or are you going through like AWS, or do you know who you're?
No,
who's
we're
hosting, who's
going-
doing the actual hosting?
Through Office, Azure,
Azure?
yeah. So,
Just curious.
Yeah,
So,
share-
none of that's
SharePoint
super important. I'm
and,
just
yeah.
curious. Like I said, I'd just like to know that we're not putting more money into.
No, we're not.
hardware.
I was curious who's.
We may need to be put more money into our connection, our
Right.
internet connection,
Sure.
which could be, result in maybe a fee for some facility upgrade or infrastructure upgrade.
Bigger pipeline.
Bigger pipe, yep.
What'd you say?
Bigger pipe. Bigger pipe.
Bigger pipe, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Joe. Consent agenda, there's a couple new items on there that aren't always there. The number 5, I see she came to the meeting, so I would like to introduce Emily Novak to new member to the planning commission if you approve her appointment. You want to come forward and tell us a little bit about why you're in Wahoo?
Yeah. Do I get to stand here too?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Okay. I'm Emily Novak. I own the Good Life Boutique here in town. My husband and I met in Omaha, but he's originally from Brainerd, and I'm originally from Hastings, so we knew we didn't want to raise our kids in Omaha. And we fell in love with Wahoo. So we kind of took a little small town tour, bought a lot, and then built a house here. And I think we both love the community so much. It has amazing growth and potential, and I think I would be honored to be on this committee just to foresee kind of a different perspective. I did live in Omaha, I'm in the retail industry, and just to watch Wahoo grow and be a part of that.
She's been before the council before.
Yes.
Remember
For
that?
the,
Yes.
liquor license.
That was much more nerve-wracking than this one, I feel like. But yeah,
I was gonna say, and
Yes.
will be again. in
I was
a
gonna
few
say, I
seconds.
think it's on the
Yeah, okay.
is that on there?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Just a renewal of your conditional use permit.
That's funny. I don't know if we're gonna renew that on my end. Just as a thought. I mean, I think it'd be good if we approved it, just in case, but since our storefront isn't open as often. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve. the
Okay.
consent agenda.
Oh, second.
Questions? None? Roll call.
Krejci,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Morford.
Yes.
Action, no public hearings. Action items not recalling a public hearing. Number one is an interlocal agreement with the Core Drug Force Task Force, effective November 30 of 2023, to include Washington County as a member of the task force.
So we've been a member of the 3 Core Drug Task Force for quite a few years. Anytime there is an addition of an organization into that interlocal, all of the participants of the interlocal have to approve that. So it's simply that adding Washington County to the interlocal. And it's dated November of 2023 because I don't know where it went, but we're the last organization to approve it. So I'm not sure whose email it got sent to.
Save the
But
best to last, you know.
Keep them in suspense.
any questions?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, a couple seconds. Okay, any other questions? Roll call on the interlocal agreement.
Morford,
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Krejci,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Number two, approval of the second reading and possible waiver of the third reading for, jump back here. Third reading of ordinance 2454, a renewal of a conditional use permit for Good Life Boat. Oh, I jumped up, now we're two,
This
for
was-
Titles Lounge for their beer garden.
Were we just short? We couldn't get these done last
Right.
night?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to waive.
Second.
Okay, motion on the floor to waive the second reading. Is there roll call?
Morford,
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Okay, vote on the final reading.
Morford,
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, now number three, approval of second reading and possible waiver of third reading for ordinance 2454. I don't like that one.
Same thing, motion to
Renewal of a
approve.
conditional use
Second.
permit for Good Life.
Don't even have to.
I'll let him finish reading it. Motion to waive.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, questions? Roll call?
Morford,
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
and then Morford,
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for going in order.
Emily, if you decide that you're not intending to apply, will you let us know that so we can
Yes.
address this conditional use on our end?
I find it ironic I'm here because I didn't even know that was coming. But I will probably make a decision within the next couple of days, so I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Now, did we do final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
We're just-
Okay, I thought we did. Okay,
Annexation.
Number four, discussion of annexation in a general form and action to authorize staff to proceed as directed by the council. We've received the study. It's time, I think, to start working on it. As we have talked a little bit, part of what we need to probably look at is, are we gonna look at applying for first-class city in 2 years? If we are, that I think should speed up our annexation. If we're not gonna apply, it could let off a little bit, but we've got the study. And I think it's time for at least discussion on those two items, so.
So I can speak on so I started diving in, and maybe I think I talked to you a little bit about this, but diving into the things that would change if we became a city of the first class. And I started by just looking at the statute that talks about that transition and the population of 5,000. So there is obviously this census, the biannual or diannual census decennial census, whatever, every 10 years, right?
Yeah.
2030.
Middle of the decade.
No, but then it also, the city of Lincoln was before 2020, they knew in 2020 that they would not reach the 300,000 threshold. So they worked on the legislature side to include language in there that says that a community can change their status either at the census dates every 10 years or at another certified census count. American Community Survey does a census count or estimation every 5 years in rural settings like where we are. What I haven't figured out yet is whether that is you shall, if that American Community Survey comes back, which would be done in 2025, so in 2026 we'd get the results. I don't know whether that's a you shall, or if we have the option of waiting until 2030. But when we're looking at annexation, basically strategically, there are different requirements when you annex, when you're a city of the second class versus when you're a city of the first class. When you're a city of the second class, anytime you annex, you're supposed to develop a plan to extend city services, which basically gives you the ability to, whenever we can afford it, whenever we can make it happen, whenever it's requested, you lay out that plan specifically, and it gives you quite a bit of flexibility in providing those services to anyone that may be annexed in. When you cross over into that city of the first class, it's a much more definitive plan. Like, you're in 3 years you're extending sewer, or in 2 years you're doing water, all of those things. You're paving streets. It's much more definitive. So I think it's important that we have a conversation about the timing of annexation. We have this annexation study. There's some conversations going on about potentially the NRD site wanting to be annexed. I don't know if you saw that on your way to Omaha, there's 207 acres on the south of the airport, which is all in our future land use map to be industrial, which I think Ryan and I have had conversations, and he is very interested in and has every intention of applying or supplying utilities to anything that would happen out there. But that becomes a little easier if that property is annexed. So I guess Jerry and I talked about it. We talked about it a little bit in a staff committee meeting. Ryan and I have talked about it. I just think we're maybe looking for a little guidance on how aggressive you want to be in annexation, or if you have priority areas where you want to look. Does that sum up the thoughts? We just need to be strategic when we're thinking about this. So.
There's some discussion, you mentioned about the NRD proposing, and whether we'll know in the next month whether we'll be building a new office out on the west side of the lake. But if that happens, they're okay being annexed in. It's a benefit to them because hooking up to 3-phase and already having water and everything out there for rural water, it's a lot cheaper for them if it's city versus Butler Power. If it goes to Butler Power and we have to buy it back, it's really bad. So there's some interest at least, on that, and then probably going on the west side of the road on some of that property. So
that's Butler Power up right there by that Wahoo Arrows now?
No, not by the Arrow. They come way down to.
Well, on the south side of the dam, the big overhead power line, that is Butler Public Power, and it goes north to the line that you see the flashing lights on the top of the hill.
Sure,
And
okay.
it goes.
I didn't realize it was that close.
I think those homes on the west side of the dam are served by,
Butler.
are they served by? They have to be served by Butler
There's
because,
some OPBD, NRD, or OPBD, Wahoo, and Butler Power. So there's 3
Wow.
power companies in a cluster up there, and
Okay.
that needs to be straightened out. But we don't want to make it any worse.
Yeah.
I don't know, straight north of the elementary school on the other side of the highway, 77, that's Butler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
It's next to
Trail.
the
Also,
tunnel through the dam, the lighting, we pay Butler
wow.
for the lighting,
Okay.
But the cemetery power is OPP.
yeah.
So, we won't take any action, but you generally approve of us, looking into the questions that she has and getting that information?
What benefits, do we have any benefits of going city of the first class? I mean, you mentioned applying for it, and I thought, why do we wanna get ahead of that any
Well-
further than we have to? Or do we?
That's what my question
What good
is,
comes of becoming a city of the first class?
in your
Other than things
transition
become
from,
more restrictive.
village to city of the second class, there's kind of some gray area in there between 800 and 1,000 population. It's a little wishy-washy, you can choose. There's none of that gray area when you move from to a population of 5,000 or greater.
You will.
You will be city of the first class. I just don't know whether the
And
statute
we
is
can hold out
interpreted
until the 30th, until
Right.
2030.
2030. And I think, to your point, and I'm just starting that process, I need to make a list and present that to you. What are the pros, what are the cons,
Be good
what are
to
the
know.
changes, right?
That would be good.
Yeah.
So,
So-
well, I suppose you'll figure this out, but can we go apply or start working toward first class, let's say with annexation and not police, fire? Or do we have to totally bring everything up to first class for the changes in, because don't we have to have more paid, staff for fire and rescue?
I don't know whether you're obligated to have paid fire. I don't believe you are, because there's
I
other
believe so,
communities that
'cause
have
there's a lot
volunteers.
of- Bellevue was
Right.
volunteer all the way up until 15 years ago or whatever it was, and there were
Wow, Fremont.
65,000.
Fremont had volunteer
Yeah,
for a long
right.
time, too.
No, Fremont Rural does. Fremont's always been.
There's some things
professional
that
stuff.
change on the, full-time side for police department in terms of benefits
Yeah,
and
that's
that,
what I'm thinking of.
and that, with a city of the first class, I know we can go a 2-mile extension of our ETJ around versus right now, as a city of the second class, we can take 1 mile plus ask for an additional mile, and the county has to grant you that. Versus the first class, you can take 2 miles for your jurisdiction, for your zoning jurisdiction.
So we might wanna visit with the county as whether, what their feeling is toward the two.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things we need to take into account, and I haven't like enumerated them and put them all down on paper. I think that's where I need to start, but I just want to make sure we have the conversation so that you understand that there is some strategy behind annexing of, maybe your approach is, well, let's wait until something happens, right? Which
General
that's,
react.
That never works.
I was gonna say, I thought
Right.
having the annexation study and everything was us saying, yeah, we're ready to start looking at
Agreed.
this. We have some areas that I think have been targeted as
More
good for all
targeted
parties involved.
Yeah.
So yes, I definitely think it's worth continuing to move toward that if that's the
For
question.
some reason, I thought it was a lot more difficult to annex in a first class than
yeah, that's what I just explained,
Yeah,
is the
that's one
plan
thing
to
to
extend
follow.
city
Investments of
services,
the plan.
So if we
right,
can
yeah.
get on it, let's
right.
try to get on it
Yeah.
before they force us with more regulation as we.
You don't just
change
want
it.
to annex to annex, but if you truly felt like there's
Yeah,
some
there were some
strategic
pieces
and-
from that study that
pieces
make sense
that-
for,
Yep.
for,
Yeah.
for the property owners and for the city.
Right, and it doesn't, because we want to annex, doesn't negate the responsibility that we have with annexation. It has to be contiguous, it has to be suburban and urban in character. So that's written into statute, we have to meet all those requirements, but.
Yes, if we start the ball rolling now so we can get some of it done before it becomes harder, that
Yeah.
would be
Makes
a good
sense.
thing.
Right, I don't know that there's anyone who would argue that inside the expressway, is not suburban and urban in character, right?
Right.
So,
But I also think that, like you were talking about, that 207 acres south of the airport there, and making that for industrial. I mean, it's something the city truly needs, and if we can make that part of the area. I
If
think.
you can help guide the development in that direction, that would make sense first to look at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's about the last logical area we have.
Right.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is keep studying and look ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Plunge ahead.
Thank you. Mayor's comments on items not on the agenda. As of tonight, there's a city facility committee meeting in the next 2 weeks set up. So we'll start going full speed on it again. One of the things that came out when the Salvation Army, National Guard, was up here, with their day in Wahoo. And we kind of knew this, but I think it was brought forward pretty strong. And it's our responsibility to develop an emergency management plan for the city of Wahoo. And so I think we need to be focusing on that. We haven't had a real need for that, but when there's a disaster, we don't want to be caught and people come in to help us and we don't know what we need, what we want, or what we have to have. So we'll try and get started on that. Another thing, and I don't know, I wasn't involved, I must have been in Lincoln during this time, maybe when the standards for Chestnut were developed. I think there's been some discussion on some of the requirements that maybe it goes too far north. And maybe, say from the daycare down maybe to, past.
You're talking about the zoning.
Yeah, for zoning, maybe even as far south as the grocery store. But maybe that, as we talk about, things to look at down the road. The Greater Wahoo Foundation has purchased Casey's, and they're looking for reports back for a development of that facility back by May 1st. So somebody might be asking the zoning on that, so maybe if we're in the discussion, it might help move that. We can't get by the covenants, but you could maybe change the zoning, so that's my comments now. Council?
Well, just to go along with that, you know, I know we made the mistake, at least I feel like it was, of not fixing the zoning along Chestnut to begin with. And so it still has a big chunk of that is zoned as downtown, which makes no sense. So while we're at that, if we were going to explore that, I'd love to bring that back up and actually have that conversation with the public again and get them to understand the difference between zone now, downtown, which everybody wants to keep just because you can go closer to the property line and fix it, because there's nothing downtown about Casey's or the auto parts store out there. So if we could try to fix that along the way, that would be ideal as well. See if we can't rectify the wrong there.
Anything else? Not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Say,
All in favor, stand.
Not as fast as I thought,
Hey, not bad.
stretch it out.
I need to sign that, and then I'll give you your pen back. Oh. Never got back to you. I guess I was here, both of them.
That'd be a bit ironic.
I still think
Bye.
back on that,
That
thinking
can
we
I
shot
can't
it down
use
that
it.
day. The whole idea was I thought we
We
would
have
have
a
it
graph
back
for
on
me
our
when I
plates.
need one. I don't know why.
3 to 6 months and we would have an opportunity to talk to them about it.
They didn't get a chance to think about it.
And again, to do it all over again, it would have just got tabled instead of.
Because I always write on this line who's absent. We're good.
Explain it on one through it. And then it just died.
Yeah.
Not at all my intention.